Listen to me. Yeah.
I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a Republican, I'm not even an American. I'm one of the 22 million black people who are the victims of Americanism.
Welcome to the Johnny Binder Show, family. Before we kick off today's show, just a disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed by guests and clips presented on this program are their own and do not represent the views of the Johnny Binder Show. The content provided is for informational and commentary purposes only. The show makes no claims of veracity or independent verification. Viewer discretion is advised. And I will also add, we'll be discussing some sensitive topics today. So trigger warning. Just if you need to step back, review, we understand. But we encourage you to stay engaged because tonight's conversation needs to be an honest one. So, because when we have a state like Mississippi with a documented history of racial violence, we need to be aware, right, fam? So there's been a history of racial violence, delayed justice, hidden evidence, unanswered questions, and families who've had to fight just to be heard. So how much transparency is enough? And more importantly, how much transparency is required before Black families can reasonably be expected to trust the official explanation? Because as you see, trust is something you demand from people after generations of betrayal. Trust is earned. It is built through honesty. It is built through accountability. It is built by answering the hard questions, not avoiding them, delaying them, or telling grieving families to simply accept what they have been given. From Emmett Till to Medgar Evers, from documented lynchings to modern day disputed hanging deaths, and now the case of Nolan Wells and Cohen Wiley, the names may change, but the pain, the questions, and the distrust keep showing up. And let's keep it real. Black families are not asking for special treatment. We are asking for the whole truth. We are asking for evidence. We are asking for the same urgency, dignity, and transparency that any family should receive when someone they love doesn't make it home. So for tonight, we're not just here to manufacture a conspiracy. We're here to examine why history has made disbelief reasonable and why transparency is no longer optional. This is Mississippi Mess. Too many deaths, not enough answers. But before we step into these difficult stories, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to center ourselves in prayer because conversations like this can make you angry, they can make you tired, they can make you feel helpless, but we cannot allow the weight of what we are facing to take away the strength we need to confront it. So first, we pray for wisdom, discernment, truth, justice, and comfort for every family still waiting for an answer. And then we'll come back with a word of motivation to remind us that even when justice is delayed, our voices still matter, our questions still matter, and the truth is still worth fighting for. And that message will be delivered by our minister, Johnny Binder. So fam, let's go ahead and get on the show. Let's get ready for our prayer.
Dear God, oftentimes when I find myself winning, like really, really winning to my standards anyway, that's usually when I remember all the times I wasn't winning. And I sometimes let that become the premise for a moment to relax, like to take it in and to move at a pace that's more comfortable, I guess. But I know the bar you set for me is So much higher than the bar I set for myself. Like I know it's so much more. And God, I feel a season that's coming that's gonna unlock that really, really winning feeling again. I mean, only you know if that season is coming, but God, I feel it. And I'm asking you in advance, this time, keep me humble, keep me grounded. Give me the strength to have the same speed when I'm in first place in the race that I had when they blew the whistle. Give me the strength to not pause until I fully cross the finish line. Amen.
We are calling on the God of David, the God who fights battles we cannot see. So don't stay silent. Open your mouth. Pray with authority. Pray like your life depends on it. Oh Lord, my God, contend with those who contend with me. Fight against those who fight against my destiny. Stand up for me, Jehovah Gibbor, the mighty man of war. Take hold of shield and buckler. Rise up as my divine defender. Lift your spear and block the path of every enemy pursuing me. And speak to my soul right now. I am your salvation. Father, you see what nobody else sees. You see the silent battles. You see the tears I hide. You see the pressure I carry. You see the spiritual attacks that don't have names. So today, Lord, step into my situation. Interrupt every evil cycle. Break every hidden chain. Destroy every unseen opposition. Every person, every spirit, every force that is fighting me without cause. Let them be put to shame now. Confusion locate them. Let fear enter their camp. Let every plan they created in darkness collapse in the light of your power. Lord, according to Psalm 35, let the angel of the Lord pursue them. Let divine winds scatter them like dust. Let their path become dark and slippery. Let them fall suddenly. Let their own traps catch them. Every pit dug for me, turn it back. Every arrow sent to destroy me, go back to the sender. In the mighty name of Jesus, every attack on my mind, every attack on my peace, every attack on my finances, every attack on my health, every attack on my calling, I refuse to be overwhelmed. I refuse to be delayed. I refuse to be destroyed. Father, they hated me without reason. They spoke against me without truth. They gathered against me without cause. Even when I prayed for them, even when I showed love, even when I stayed silent, they still fought me. But today, you fight for me.
Our minds right, as you said. We got to knock off all this. There's no time. There's no time for games. Everybody in here, you need to not leave. You need to run out of here and tell every kid you got, every nephew, every son, every daughter, every young person, you need to go get a computer course and a financial literacy course yesterday.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being by any means necessary.
I'm on the show. Okay, may God bless you. Ladies and gentlemen, may God bless you. May God keep you. Malcolm, always speaking the truth. And if we're ever going to use what Malcolm did, we need to use it in Mississippi, the mess. You know, all of y'all tickle me for real. Why why do we keep, and we got some powerful people in Mississippi that has like their own little city in Mississippi. I don't know how they got away with it, because they better have some security. Because if they ever get, I'm trying to give you a word, because if they ever get upset, they'll come and do something like they've been doing. So again, ladies and gentlemen, whatever we have, we need our own army, our own police that's going to give us justice. And there's a lot of police officers will go with us because they want to give justice. I talked to some today. They're not with the systemic racism. I'm talking about white and black and Hispanic. You just got a 10 to 15% dirty police officers. That's animals. Then you got the Proud Boys that Mr. Trump let out and let them all out that broke into the Capitol on the 6th. These unalived people, all kind of stuff. He let them out. One of the biggest drug dealers, he let him out. And then put Venezuela in. So again, man, then he shot a thing over at the schoolhouse. The children run into the prayer room. Then he shoot it in there and take out 165 little girls from 12 to from 6 to 12 years old. So we're dealing with a lot of animals. And this is why this country is so messed up. They keep all this old fake shooting somebody, trying to shoot at them, looking for sympathy, trying to change the narrative. It's all a con game. Ain't nobody shot at that man. When the real people come, you'll know it. You'll know it. The whole world will know it. So that's overseas, the real ones. So again, all this old lying and trying to manipulate the media, trying to make somebody feel sorry for him. The man is a habitual liar, man. He done had more attempts than all the presidents put together. He always using it when the media is so on him for all the stuff he done did. The war, Jeff Epstein, taking that lady out, put in a camp, I think with a dog. So it's the man have destroyed the whole America. Ain't nobody trying to deal with us. Canada, one of our best. They done backed up. Saudi Arabia was trying to deal with him. They done backed up. Everybody backing up, man. The man think he can just go around and bully people. And China, he can keep faking with them. Their arsenal is 15 years in the head of ours. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Mississippi is a mess. And it's been a mess. It's been a mess for a long time. And our people are ignorant and don't understand God. And that's who we are and what we are. Mississippi, all officials, the governor, all of them, the DA, they need to be arrested. And that woman will be covering up, if I found nothing wrong, there's nothing wrong, nothing happened. I found nothing wrong, nothing happened. I found nothing wrong, nothing happened. That's all they do. That's what they do, TikTok. Mississippi, that's why they did that thing, that movie, Mississippi Burning. And also Mississippi Mess. I mean, they didn't unalive this boy. I said it on day one. Don't say that, don't rush to what? You take his keys to his car. You take his phone. You delete some of the stuff on that Dale phone. You don't take the phone to his mother and father. You go to a party, one or two parties. You leave there and go eat, then go home. Still ain't calling. She got to get a tracker to try to find the phone. And then the grandfather called in after y'all called in and say the boat's sinking with that hotline. Boat sinking, yeah, right. And then the grandfather called in and tell the people, don't even worry about it. I got it. I got it. Don't even worry about it. I got it. Police, yes, sir, boss. Yes, sir. So don't ask me. And then my brother Willie D showed me a picture. I seen the picture of Bort and the young lady. Then I seen Nolan and the same young lady. Uh-oh. What is that? Thank you. Let's get started.
Okay, fam. Well, welcome back. Thank you, Minister, for that word and that great opening. Before we get started and give you our Nolan Wells update, wanted you to hear what people are who actually live in Mississippi and have deep roots there and are what they're saying online, because social media has become a place where y'all know people say things they might not feel safe saying in public. Excuse me. Where they might not feel safe saying it in public. But some are talking about fear, racism, poverty, corruption, and distrust. Others are reminding us that Mississippi is also home, community, culture, resilience, and Black history. These are personal perspectives, not proven facts, and they help us understand why cases like Nolan Wells' death strike such a deep nerve. So listen carefully to what the people are saying, and we'll come back and examine the latest information in the Nolan Wells investigation.
There is the South, and then there is Mississippi. If you are Black, those are not always the same thing. Because see, Mississippi is not just a place on a map. It is a place where the soil remembers. It remembers lynching trees. It remembers burned churches. It remembers bodies pulled from rivers. It remembers names that never made the news. People ask, why are Black people so suspicious about what happened to Nolan Wells and the subsequent investigation? It is because history has taught us to be. Mississippi has earned all of this skepticism. This is the state where Emmett Till's killers walked free, where Medgar Evers was murdered in his own driveway, where Schwerner, Cheney, and Goodman were murdered for helping to register Black voters, where during the Mississippi burning investigation, the FBI uncovered the remains of other murdered Black men whose disappearances had gone largely unnoticed. For generations, Black families learned something that America still struggles to understand. Justice delayed was not the exception. It was often the expectation. Too many deaths were ruled accidents. Too many murders were unsolved. Too many investigations ended with more questions than answers. That history does not disappear because the calendar changed. Trauma does not have an expiration date. So when Black people ask hard questions about Nolan Wells, it is because generation after generation we have watched justice come too late or not at all. It is the accumulated weight of watching cases ignored, witnesses dismissed, evidence overlooked, and families denied justice. You cannot spend centuries teaching people that the system won't protect them and then act offended when they don't trust it. History matters. Context matters. And in Mississippi, its racist history is never, ever very far away.
92% girl power redefined.
Couldn't have said that better. Before we comment, I want to share.
She made it plain.
She did, didn't she? I want to share a different perspective.
Trigger warning for any of y'all see this, okay? Watch this old racist, old redneck ass white man go in on Black folks. This gonna piss you off. Watch this shit.
Y'all see this hat right here? Says freedom, 250 years. That's right. 1776 to 2026. That's today. Sounds real noble, don't it? People see me in this hat and they see a white man with a southern drawl and they think they know exactly what I stand for. Sometimes they come up to me and they say, Dixon, why you hate white people? So let me get one thing straight right now so we don't have to visit it again. I don't fucking hate white people. I am white. I ain't got no goddamn guilt complex. I'm proud to be white. I ain't got no problem with my damn skin. My mama was white. What I absolutely despise, though, is white fucking behavior. Why? I'm ashamed of our greed, of our white narcissism, and this sickness of Christian fascism that has rotten us from the inside out. We wave this flag and holler about patriotism, But using the system to keep one race in power over everybody else ain't patriotism. That's a betrayal. We are so terrified of our own history that we banning books and hiding behind censored curriculums, praying the world doesn't see the blood on our foundation. Y'all want the receipts? Look in your own damn wallet. We carry the proof of America's original sins in our pockets every day like a lucky charm. Look at the $20 bill on Andrew Jackson. Look at there. Folks down here treat him like a hero. But let's be brutally honest. You're worshiping at the altar of a racist devil. He wasn't just some tough guy. He was a human trafficker who used the United States military to steal millions of acres from native people just to expand the empire of slavery. And it don't stop with the $20 bill. Look at George Washington on the $1 bill. Jefferson on the $2 bill. These men wrote all men are created equal while keeping hundreds of human beings in chains. We built a holy trinity out of morally bankrupt narcissists who treated human life like currency. We celebrated white greed as a virtue. And this wannabe dictator Trump, he's just the newest messiah of that exact same fucking disease. You know, white people like to talk about civilization like we brought it here on a fucking boat. Please. Hell, the Aztecs are building cities cleaner and more sophisticated than anything in Europe. They gave us the crops that kept the world from starving. And how did we pay them? We stole their gold. Then we stole their blueprints for democracy to write our own constitution. And let's look at the black soul, the truth white America really wants to skip. Because if we admit what black folks actually did, white genius looks like a fucking lie. Black people didn't just create the swamps and build the White House. They designed the modern world. You're watching me on a cell phone right now because of Jesse Russell, a black man, pioneered digital cellular technology. You survived surgery because Charles Drew figured out the blood bank. We are living in a house designed by the minds we tried to cage, and we're still trying to ban the authors who wrote the truth about it. This is the white intellectual bankruptcy. You know, my daddy and I used to hunt a lot. Let me tell you universal truth. When the rabbit's got the gun, it ain't no fun. The people we spent 400 years hunting have taken hold of the narrative, and white America is terrified. You're scared to death that black and brown people want to do to us what we've done to them. You're projecting your own violent heart onto them, hoping for a payback that fits your bloodthirsty history. But here's the raw, unvarnished truth about black people. They don't want revenge. They never did. That's a white fantasy born out of guilt. They just want to live their fucking lives without asking your permission. They just want what's fair. Basically, they want to just be left the fuck alone. We're so scared of a monster we created in our own heads that we weaponize the system against them. And white women, you've played the innocent victim for 4 fucking centuries. But your fake tears have been death warrants for entire communities, from Tulsa to Emmett Till. And I don't give a fuck if it hurts you. And I don't give a fuck if I'm a man telling you, because I'm coming down on our white men too. You are the weapon that makes the system work. You don't believe me? Look up fucking Tulsa. Look up fucking Rosewood. White women tears created that shit. So white America, we've tried everything else. We tried hate. We tried fear. We tried dominating everyone who doesn't look like us, and it's failed us. Isolation is death. When you cut off the flow of diversity, you aren't just starving your neighbors. You are tying a tourniquet around the veins of our democracy. Fact. America is diversity. Our strength wasn't in our walls. It was in our ability to fuse different minds into something unstoppable. Love is the most powerful, untapped, revolutionary resource in our entire fucking universe. It is the only thing that can turn a broken system into a sanctuary. I do this work because I love my people enough to tell them the fucking truth. Look in the fucking comments. Tell me if you see any fucking white people. They all run from me like little fucking cockroaches. We have to bury the fucking lie. We have to reclaim our humanity as white people. This Freedom 250 hat, stick it up your fucking ass, because America ain't never been fucking free. All right? Because as the great Fannie Lou Hamer said, nobody's free. That includes you, white America, until everybody's free. Let that penetrate your little fucking minds. The dawn is coming. And the choice is yours.
He gave America up. Thank you, sir. I ain't got nothing to say behind that, but I wish I knew where he was to fly him in, to get him on here. I mean, what you gonna say behind that? Everything we done said, he just wrapped it up. America is guilty. It's not a Christian country. If Christian, we ain't Christ-like. They ain't like nothing. They have pillaged people, unalive people, taken people, everything you can think, every sin you can think. They've done it. And over 100 Black Wall Street, they decimated them. And millions of people they took in their life. So again, they over 500,000 people on the Civil War and North and the South, 500,000 people died because they wanted to keep us in slavery. That's what the man was talking about. They owe us over $100 trillion. The 4 acres mule turned to $100 trillion. That's why they don't want to pay us. They don't even want to look that way. We don't need your food stamps. Don't need your housing. We don't need your Medicare. We need nothing. The $100 trillion, let us go and build our own. But Master, you don't want to do that. But your day coming. Your day coming. Your day coming. Assalamu alaikum. Yes, sir. We're talking about Nolan Well. They unalived him in Mississippi. Give me 1 minute. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. We have to stop. Mr. Johnny. Yes, sir. There we go. So this is what they're doing. Give me 1 minute. So this is what they're doing. Okay. This is what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen. The man, I can't wait for, I wish Matthew would have heard it. The man spoke so intelligent. Matthew, get over there with a light, a nice light. The man spoke, or turn the whole bright light on. There you go. The man spoke so intelligently. I mean, everything I can't. He spoke the truth about the racism, the sexism, classism, stupid ignorancism, the mental behavior of America, and this filthy government we're dealing with. It's a lie. Democracy mean democratus mean the rule of the devil. If Jesus, Moses, Abraham, Muhammad, David, Jesse, Joseph, Zephaniah, Josiah, any of them was here, none of them would follow democracy. That's the rule of the devil. They would follow theocracy, the rule of God. You know it's the rule of the devil. How the hell you think Donald Trump got there with 34 felonies? How is a man, a president, with 34 felonies, and then let out the people to go on January 6th to break in the thing and unalive people? And 100-some police went to the hospital, and some of them was unalive. Come on, y'all, for real? For real. For real. We give one man the power to fire people and take stuff and start wars. That the whole law of America is jacked up, because it should take the Senate and the Congress and to sit down and vote and rationalize instead of giving one man the power to start a war. He's starting the war because he don't want to be impeached. He's starting the war because someone gave his son $50 million, and the next day the war started. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this whole thing is jacked up. And Mississippi burning, the movie was off the chains. So again, here we are again with the same foolishness. And Mississippi is what it is. It's a mess. Brother Matthew, what do you think about Nolan and how they done him, how they took his throat, took his stomach, took his phone, took his keys, went to a party, then went ate and then reported nothing. So at the first start, I told him it was homicide. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Because if that was true, you would have to hide everything you hear. So that's a bunch of lies. So I'll give it over to you, Brother Matthew. What do you think about these situations?
That's equivalent to our brother Kendrick Johnson, who was harmed at a high school, I believe, in Arkansas. Don't quote me on the demographic, though, Pop. Look it up, though. Kendrick Johnson. Look, he got into it with a white boy, Pop. Probably whooped him, Pop, huh? And as a result, the boy he was rolled up in a mat, Pop, up under the bleachers. You hear me? He was
Yes, sir.
rolled. He was rolled in a mat up under the bleachers, and he hadn't been investigated for like a while, Pop. Before they. So, but to answer your question initially, Pop, it's just racism has not changed here in America. It's just being recorded now, Pop. Right? That's the only difference. Right? It's just being recorded, so you're able to see it, and this is a way that white supremacy gets a rise out of black folks, right? Where they're able to show these types of situations to, in a sense, desensitize us, Pop, right? Because once you see it so much, it becomes normal now. So now you're not revolting as you once were when it happened to, let's say, a family member or a friend, right? And so you got to pay attention to these types of things, Pop. White supremacy is very articulate. They're very manipulative. These are master manipulators, Pop, right? So they have the ability to keep that divide and conquer. But one thing that this is doing, Pop, like Brother Malcolm taught us, Pop, this is making white folks see. For example, the white girl Rachel, Pop, Miss Rachel, I believe is her name on social media, and she's a white woman that basically came out and stood with Nolan Wells, right? And as a result of that, she's been getting a bunch of unfollowers, Pop, folks stepping out, basically showing the true colors about how they feel, right, about the whole incident. And so I think black folks have to be more concerned with each other, right? We're too concerned with others, Pop. That's our issue collectively, right? We take on everybody else's problems so openly and so generously, right, Pop? But for some reason, we can't seem to fix our own internally. So I think that that's something we have to address collectively within our community, and just make folks aware. You know what I mean? Just making folks aware. That's it.
You know what I like about the video and what the man said? Thank you, Matthew.
Mhm.
I like that he said that he's not doing it because he feels guilty about being white and that he's proud of his race, but he is sick of their foolishness. And I like it coming from that perspective because I know a lot of times white guilt will make people be self-loathing, and that makes me it makes me uncomfortable. I would just rather they just know the truth and express the truth, but you don't have to let they don't have to take on the guilt and the shame of it, but know the guilt and the shame of it. Am I making sense?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And another thing I'll piggyback with that, ma'am, is I believe that black folks are too forgiving. That's our issue, right? Just put it like this here. If Nolan was a white boy and it was all black people on that old boat, do you think white folks would be waiting for an investigation? Let me just that's a real question, Pop. If Nolan Wells was a white boy and it was all black folks on that boat, do you think that white folks would be waiting for someone to give them an investigation of their child?
Let me help you out with that. We played this 2 weeks ago, I think. It was a white young lady, about 26, 27, 28 years old. Very beautiful, very intellectual. She came on Don Lemon and some other show before then, and she proved that her people, if it was 3 black boys that took a white boy out there and left him, they all have been indicted.
Mm-hmm.
She proved it. So yes, sir. We know it's systemic racism. Let's go to the next tape so you can see what we do. Let's go, Catherine.
Well, actually, the next tape that's queued up is a Nolan Wells update,
Mm-hmm.
but it's his I believe it's his mother, dispelling the myth that he was intoxicated or otherwise impaired. And because that's the narrative that's being floated around to discredit him.
Absolutely. That's what they got to do. Right. I've been seeing that too, though, in terms of them trying to find videos. I think it was one they showed a picture of him with like he was like holding a can of beer or something like that. But they were just trying to, that's always the narrative, or as I like to call it, the propaganda that they put up.
Yeah.
So that they could
propaganda machine.
Right, so that they could discredit by way of a jury. Because, see, in good old Mississippi, see, word is, it's still some cities that practice slavery style practices, right? Within those cities in Mississippi, up to date. And they still have sundown towns in Mississippi, a lot like Texas. So this is nothing new to the American public in terms of the mistreatment of our brothers and sisters, right? Again, the problem I have is how forgiving we'll be in the event that all of this is happening. That's my biggest issue with my people, because if other black people had harmed Nolan, we would be after those black people right now and trying to cancel those black people, and we would be at those all down those black people's necks. So, and not to say we aren't doing that with white people, but I just feel like we aren't as harsh on others as we are with each other. And if for some reason we could kind of switch that up, I think that would be beneficial for us. Mm-hmm.
I agree. Let's go ahead and roll this, and then we'll come back for thoughts.
From my Breakfast Club, Fight Plus News, I'm John Abba.
One in particular, I think he told me he saw Nolan somewhere between like 2:45 and 3:30. He was like, Christine, yeah, we talked for a while. We talked about college. We talked about his life, his plans. And he was like, he was perfectly fine.
It's officially been 1 month today, and the case of Nolan Wells continues to be a mystery. Now, more and more information has slowly been revealed to help piece together the 18-year-old's final moments, but there still looks to be several crucial holes of what actually took place on July 4th this year. As you should know, Wells was a collegiate athlete who would travel to an island off the coast of Mississippi with a group of friends. They would return, and he would not, in which his body would be found 2 days later. On the same part of the island the boat he traveled in was anchored. Now, in the aftermath of him missing, several questionable things would arise, like his misplaced phone and keys, to inconsistent testimonies in regards to his whereabouts as the day continued. Now, before autopsies and toxicology reports were even completed, some online, including Sheriff John Ledbetter, who is over the case, would suspect that Wells' passing looks to have been an accidental drowning. At the core of those feelings for some that Wells drowned was the claim that he must have been drunk and made some poor decisions while at Horn Island. At the top of the first reports around the case, his father, Elmore Wansley, would push back on such claims because Wells was getting ready to start football training for his sophomore year at Southwest Mississippi Community College. Now, despite his father suggesting that Wells drinking heavily didn't make sense to him, it was revealed that on July 5th, a witness would supposedly tell authorities that Wells' intoxication was heavy. Now, this would be revealed in an email report, according to outlets like ABC News, as it has been explained as a description sent on July 5th by the Marine Patrol as part of attempts to find Wells after he went missing. In the email, it listed basic information for Wells, including his physical description, as searchers scanned the island for signs of him. Now, as you continue reading this document, it will go on to say, food intake, unknown, alcohol, heavy. You see, the release of this report would be an issue for many, given that it looked to help inflame media bias, as some outlets ran the story of Wells being heavily intoxicated in their headlines, which could minimize the outrage some may have about the case. Now, on Friday, during a new interview with Don Lemon, Wells' mother would make a shocking reveal that she was recently reached out to by a coach who knew Nolan, and they would confirm that they saw him on Horn Island and he appeared to be fine, in a total contrast of his missing persons report claiming that he was heavily intoxicated.
We've seen this before, right? Pattern recognition. We've seen this where things have happened, especially when we talk about the Black community. And, after the death, it's a smear campaign. It's, what can we find out about this person? What can we say? If you were in our situation, how would you feel if there were millions of people who are saying, oh, hey, well, he was at an island. He was heavily drunk. And again, even with the drinking, there are so many conflicting stories, only because I have spoken with adults who knew Nolan very well, coaches that were out there. One in particular, I think he told me he saw Nolan somewhere between like 2:45 and 3:30. He was like, Christine, yeah, we talked for a while. We talked about college. We talked about his life, his plans. And he was like, he was perfectly fine. Because I think it had bothered him too that there was this narrative of, oh, he was sloppy drunk. Like and it started at the very beginning. It was, oh, he was sloppy drunk. And I'm like, but was he though? Or is this a narrative that you guys want to use to kind of have us just accept that it was a drowning?
Now, what is also interesting is that 2 weeks ago, before his mother's newest reveal, during his first interview ever, Wells' friend who he traveled to Horn Island with, Warren Hudson, would also go on to reveal that Wells appeared to be fine every time they spoke that day on the island.
I talked to Nolan, and Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations. And
now, given that these two statements alone claim that Wells did not appear drunk, and that may have been more of a reflection of some around him, looks to remove the theory that he must have been drunk and drowned off the table. As of this report, Wells' toxicology report has yet to be released to officially confirm his alcohol level at the time of his death.
Well, Nolan Wells was heavily drinking that night. Yeah, I heard he was drinking. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I heard he was drinking. Yes, baby, we all know he was drinking. If you actually looked at like half of the photos from that day, he was holding a High Noon or some other type of seltzer in almost every other photo. We already knew he was drinking. Why are you now talking about it? What is the benefit of being, oh, he was heavily drinking that day? The better question is, who is providing alcohol to people who are 18, 19, maybe 20 years old? And from there, what role does that play in his murder? The question is, what happened to him, and why did he not make it home when everybody else did? Not was he drinking or not. Who cares? A, we already knew that, and B, what's that got to do with anything? Y'all will not distract us from the truth and the reality of the moment. The question is, what happened to him? Not why did it happen? Not, well, what negative light could he have possibly been painted into to justify the harm that befell him? Shut up, girl. What happened to that baby? Why did that happen to that baby? Why is that the news y'all trying to push and not the things we heard on the audio? Not the fact that his mother is suing everybody and their mama trying to get as much paperwork as she can, as much documentation as she can to figure out what the heck happened to her baby. That's what we should be talking about, not he was heavily drinking. Oh, local teenager heavily drinks on boat and more news at 8. Shut up. Don't PM.
Why do they keep saying Nolan Wells was drinking heavily? Like, have y'all not met no high school people in the last 30 years or something like that? I went to a white high school, so I feel like I can speak on it. As soon as I hit 9th grade at that white high school, them people was bringing liquor bottles to school. And if we're being real, we talking about 18-year-olds going to a party on an island. I've been to so many house parties, not even on an island. Everybody was belligerent. So you're telling me that y'all is making it a point to say, oh, but he was heavily drinking on an island with a whole bunch of other 18-year-olds, like they ain't doing the same thing?
I shouldn't be surprised they're trying to victim blame Nolan Wells for allegedly being drunk. There's a few things I want to say about this. If Nolan Wells was heavily intoxicated, that to me is even more reason why, as his friend, you should have not left him on a fucking island 10 miles away from the mainland. If my friend is drunk and not thinking clearly and they're saying, no, I want to stay on this island, too fucking bad, get in the goddamn boat. Which brings me to the second thing I want to talk about. If Nolan was drunk, his friends probably were too. Should they have been operating a boat? Anyone gonna check into that? Because apparently they had a call for a tow. What was going on there? And number 3, probably the most important piece of information, if he were drinking and he was smashed super drunk, he does not deserve to die. This right here is so fucking shitty.
On Saturday.
Okay, I'll pause it right there. What do you think, especially what the last young gentleman brought up?
Matt.
Yeah.
All right. The last, I mean, you showing some hell of a tapes. They, you got some Caucasian people speaking up. Not enough of them, but enough to show their face in the mirror. And we know it's a cover up. I mean, we knew it from the first day, and somebody was on there with us telling me that I shouldn't. I said, no, sir, brother. Too many inconsistencies, because if you was telling the truth, it wouldn't be all these inconsistencies. So to take his keys, to take his phone, then delete his phone, never give it to his mother, never call her, and go to a party, and the people ask you where he at, and I don't want to talk about it because nobody trying to make me guilty. Guilty of what? Then they don't talk about the boy came home and on his Facebook and gave himself up, said, I know I'm going to jail. So again, I don't know who did what, how they did it, but I just know all of them had something to do with it. Boy, and them other three.
What confuses me is what everybody else has been saying. For the obvious crimes that were committed, misdemeanors or no, the drinking, the underage drinking, the operating a boat while you're under the influence. Because everybody said the person that called the boat tow company had his speech was slurred. So he was possibly inebriated. And then you just have the people supplying them the alcohol to begin with. It was just Turn Up Tuesday on the island, and I just don't understand why the small charges aren't coming to light. I don't know why they're not being held accountable for the lesser charges until the bigger picture comes to rest, or we just sweeping it all under the rug. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a big circus right now with that whole little ordeal. Quite similar to our sister, I believe, up close to Dallas a few years back, Tamla Horsford. I believe you
Yes.
can Google that name. You remember that, Miss Stacy? I mean, Miss Cat.
Yes, where
You
her
remember that?
son was a swimmer, and they got them for evidence tampering or something like that,
Mm-hmm. Well,
but
yeah, I
not
know. With the
him.
lady, yeah, with the lady Miss Tamla though, she went over to a house party of her friends.
Oh,
They were all white, and she ended up dying. And the police report read that, again, with this same narrative that they're trying to do with our brother Nolan, said that our sister had got drunk, and was drinking, and as a result of that, she fell over the second story balcony, face first
mm,
concrete, and she died. Yeah, so again, tried to paint that same narrative that they're trying to paint with our brother Nolan now, that alcohol was the cause and not folks, not white folks. No way white folks could have done anything like that to Nolan.
oh,
Had to be the liquor, right? That's the picture they're trying to paint. And in good old Mississippi, like I was stating earlier, um, it's very easy for that young boy to uh, for those white boys to get acquitted for what they did to our brother. Yeah, in good old Mississippi. Oh yeah, that state's literacy rate, not illiterate. Their literacy rate is so low. It's like that's that same state, Pop, that Brett Favre took money from, Pop. I don't know if you remember that, but a couple years back, old Brett Favre came and stole money from that state. So that state's kind of slow, man. It's slow in general, So I'm happy that our brother Nolan has got the exposure and the coverage that he's gotten with this whole debacle, because that certainly will play a part in the sentencing, if you will, right, of these folks. But yeah, you got to keep an eye on that state, because that state of Mississippi, whew.
I
Same thing they
know.
did to Emmett Till, 1955. Say he whistled at a white woman. Just say he did do it. You unalive him. Then they found out 30 years later, 40 years later, it never happened.
Hey man, listen. but they came and got old Bill Pop 40 years later though. But anyway, that's another conversation. Anywho,
Well, I'm
it's sad.
glad y'all brought that up. That's a nice segue into our next clip coming up about suspicious deaths, unalivings in Mississippi.
Oh, Miss that's SIP.
That's that sip. That's the mess in the sip.
And that's that crooked letter. Crooked letter.
All right, from 1877 to 1950, a period of less than 100 years, lynch mobs of white people seeking to uphold racial segregation through racial terror murdered more than 4,000 Black Americans across the South. That's according to the Equal Justice Initiative. Now, the state with the most lynchings was Mississippi. And while the last official recorded lynching in the U.S. was 40 years ago, the Washington Post reported this week, according to court records and police reports, that since 2000, there have been at least 8 suspected lynchings of Black men and teenagers in Mississippi. And joining me now is the magnificent reporter who wrote that piece, Deneen Brown from the Washington Post. Thanks so much, Deneen, for being here. You wrote this story and it went viral. I think a lot of people were very surprised that this kind of thing still happened. And I think a lot of Black people, it brought up a lot of generational trauma for our community and what we've experienced. So let me just dig right into it, because there are people who might say, well, how do we know these aren't suicides? Is there any reason to believe that any of these were suicides?
Yeah, so as you said, since 2000, at least 8 Black people, Black men and teenagers were found hanging in trees in Mississippi. Jill Cullen Jefferson, who's a civil rights attorney who's been investigating these cases, says that there's a pattern here. So she says that often police arrive at the scene of these hangings. The hangings are treated immediately as suicides. The scenes are not preserved. The investigations, according to families, are not thorough, and the cases are often never heard again unless somebody brings them up. So the families in each of these cases have raised legitimate questions about what happened to their loved one. So, for example, in the case of Willie Jones, who was found in 2018, he was found hanging from a pecan tree in the yard of his white girlfriend's house in Mississippi. Just minutes before he was found hanging, there was an argument with the stepfather of his girlfriend who had threatened him. And he was found with a belt around his neck that did not belong to him. And also his family said that his right arm was disabled. He couldn't lift his right arm above his head, so it was impossible that he could have hung himself, according to his family.
Yeah, and some of the other things that you point out in your reporting, there was grass found in his hair, grass found in his wallet. How would that have gotten there? There was clearly an argument and dispute. Some of the timelines don't add up. These are all things very familiar. Now, I do want to point out that you did reach out to the DOJ about this, and I do want to at least read their response when asked by a reporter whether the DOJ or FBI was investigating the death of Jones and at least 7 other Black men found hanging in Mississippi. A spokesperson responded, "We were aware of all the matters and reviewed them all. We have no further comment." So not a lot of information. I mean, I think in your reporting, I saw there was a lot of stonewalling. I think this is something that's so interesting as well, because there was this case that you revisit in your reporting where 10 white teenagers, essentially beat a man to death. That they ran over him with this car. And I think why this is so poignant is because when you look at pictures of lynchings, this was a family affair. I mean, white women brought their children. There were families there having lemonade and watching somebody get mutilated and burned to death. So the fact that these children who witnessed this are still alive in Mississippi, it's a head scratcher.
Yeah, in that case, that was the case in 2011 of Craig Anderson, who was fatally beaten and attacked by white teenagers who were hunting for Black people. They said that they were actually hunting for Black people. The federal judge in that case during one of the sentencing hearings said that this case evoked Mississippi's very disturbing legacy of lynching. So yes, there is, the state is very haunted by its past of horrors of racial terror lynchings. And as you said in your opening, Mississippi had the most. lynchings in U.S. history. So it's disturbing for many of the Black families when they find Black men and Black teenagers hanging from trees. They immediately think lynching.
And the fact that the police officer or the police force on scene with the case that you write about, they made this assessment within 45 minutes. Something equally disturbing, Cindy Hyde-Smith, she's a senator from Mississippi. She made a lynching joke when she was running for Senate and still was able to win her seat, which was quite disturbing. One of the men that you write about, he was found hanged with a dog chain as a noose. That doesn't seem like something that someone would use to hang themselves with, even though the psychology of harming yourself, but that seems very strange to me.
Right. The family in that case say that there are a lot of unanswered questions. Families are raising legitimate questions. Yes, his name was Nick Taylor. He was 23. He was found in 2003 with his own dog's chain wrapped around his neck. So yeah, it raises a lot of questions. There were other cases that I listed. Roy Veal, for example, had a pillowcase over his head. He was found in 2004. He'd recently returned to Mississippi to fight for his family's land. Otis Bird was found with a bed sheet wrapped around his neck. Philip Carroll, who was 22, he was found in 2017. The neighbor who showed police where the body was remembered that his hands had been tied, but later police said that there was no evidence that his hands had been tied. So there are a lot of questions that families say are unanswered in these cases, and they're really seeking answers.
Yeah. And this, I mean, look, if 8 white women were found hanging from trees, it would be breaking news across all 3 networks, I think. So thank you so much, Deneen, for bringing very important information to the forefront. And I know that you had a personal experience while you were down there investigating the story, and you were followed by a pickup truck, which is very interesting in Mississippi. So we'll have to have you back on to talk about that as you continue to explore this story. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you to that very brave reporter for going down there and reporting back on all of these unsolved lynchings. And these are just lynchings, though. These are just the lynchings. These are not the other types of unaliving that have taken place that have gone unsolved. So it's a lot, fam. It's a lot. So we warned you, it might be a trigger warning for some because of the content type. Yeah. Minister?
She's one of the best so far to come out with that story the way she did. We right on time. When they look back, we started this. We was on top of it from day one. We knew it was a homicide from day one. We seen the inconsistencies. Matthew left us. Okay, we seen the inconsistencies, and that's just what it is. Mississippi, they like that. They don't care about justice. You know, they break the law. They've been breaking it so long, and they've been getting away with it so long. They feel like everything is good. So that's what they done, and there's no way I could live there because they want a civil war. They don't know what's gonna happen. Not just one physically, one spiritually.
Right.
Because they sick. They are mentally sick. And they don't believe in God, so they don't think nothing's gonna happen to them behind a racist behavior. Because it's like the lady, they followed her. And I guess she's gonna come on one day and tell a story. The reporter, she did a prolific story. They started following her. So it's if whenever I go down there to do something, I'm taking undercover police officers with me. I'm not taking, not that I'm afraid, but I'm not going down there to get no case and get myself, no. So I'm going to take a police, 2-3 police officers with me and film and do what we do and tell the story. Mississippi mess. Too many deaths, not enough answers. That's a fact. Mississippi burning. Mississippi don't give a damn about nobody look like me. So again, they are systemic racism. They have no respect for God, have no respect for life. We their mother and father genetically, not biologically. All life come from the black woman. So again, we can prove this in no matter of time. They ain't been here for 6,000 years. Dr. Mendel Law will prove to you what it is. Y'all have this in you, not all Caucasian people, but the ones in Washington, D.C., that crew, that let Donald Trump do what he's doing, for the government law to be set where a man can be a president, but if you get one fed, you can't get an apartment, can't get a condo, and some jobs they won't let you work on. But here go a man got the highest job in America, so-called president with 34 felonies, and y'all know what he think about a woman, and played on the tape what he'll do to her. So again, this is mockery. We look like a bunch of fools over here to have that man representing you all. He represents me. We look crazy. The man is not correct, and he's not going to do right. Not in him. Not in him.
And so what do you think this Nolan Wells case will do? The end result will be for Mississippi. Do you think it will force them to be more transparent because our eyes are on them right now?
Well, not only that, Kat. Not only that, my beautiful. They've been uncovered now. It's in Nahum 3 in the Bible, Nahum. God say he would take their skirt and put it over their head and show their nakedness to the world. So the nakedness of Mississippi is being shown to the world. Mississippi burning, Mississippi mess. They are Ku Klux Klans, most of them. They have systemic racism, Proud Boys, and they sick. They are sick. They are mentally sick. They have become animalistic. That's what they are. That's why I tell you a dog is their best friend. Not God, but a dog that come from a wolf. So again, it's a sickness, man. Because the dog was in the cave with them for 2,000 years. So again, this is a sickness. It's a sickness. They think they better when they come from us. So again, we play with words, but Mississippi is the worst state in the United States. Hands down. More hangers there, more unalive there. They done dug up people. Whoop. I can tell you all kind of story about Mississippi, man. Same way they just let Walmart call some people out some diapers, and a 1-year-old is unalive. Never apologized, didn't pay for the funeral, nothing. So I don't give a damn about Mississippi. And God gonna bring Mississippi down. I guarantee you, all them Trumpenites, all them Ku Klux Klan, all them skinheads, God is going to chastise each and every one of them, and everybody think like them, God gonna get you too. I know. Y'all don't believe in God. I know. But the God I serve, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you're gonna be God. You're gonna be God. And like Matthew said, it's too much forgiveness. Forgiving you for what? And you consistent in doing. You keep forgiving somebody, done took 70 people put on a tree or whatever from 2020 to 2025. Then we found out from 1840 something or something, almost 6,000. So again, man, man, this is too much, man. And Mississippi no more hanging in anybody. It's too much. The disrespect is out there. And I guarantee you, God gonna bring you unalive people, you animals, you pride boys. Walk around with a mask on your face. Talking about you the police. You're a thug. Your day coming. And soon. Let's go to the next tape.
Okay, so y'all forgive me, fam. I'm not exactly sure what this one is about, but it had Mississippi in the title. There's a clip from Don Lemons. We'll soon see.
Justice for our black children.
The family is looking for answers.
We are ready to do whatever we need to do as his parents to continue advocating for him because Nolan is not here.
I'm just pausing this for a moment, fam. If you're just listening to this, they have a number displayed on the screen. It says, anyone, if you have information, it's urgent. You call 888-991-1772. That's 888-991-1772. And that's for information regarding the Nolan Wells case.
He shared that he would not be able to tell if the airways were obstructed, if the lungs were filled with water, because by the time he got Nolan's body, the organs had already been dissected.
I'm going to start with the harassment of you, and especially as a mother and then as a medical professional, and I know you take your profession very seriously when you said, I love everybody. Black, white, red, green, it does not matter. So do not get that wrong. But I want to talk about this blaming the victim and smearing the victim.
We've seen this before, right? You know, after the death, it's a smear campaign. It's, you know, what can we find out about this person? What can we say? It's part of society that has been allowed to occur, which is it's gut-wrenching at best.
Even, let's just say that he was, I'm not saying that he was, let's just saying that whatever he was doing, that doesn't mean that you have to die.
Exactly.
And what do you think young people do? On my senior trip, I was, out there, right?
And again, even with the drinking, there are so many conflicting stories. I have spoken with adults, coaches that were out there. One in particular, I think he told me he saw Nolan somewhere between like 2:45 and 3:30. He was like, Christine, yeah, we talked for a while. We talked about college. We talked about his life. And he was like, he was perfectly fine.
Dad, not only speaking up for your son, but for others as well. Those families have been treated like they're a nuisance by police departments, according to the reporting. What do you want to say to America about this?
Just from a parent standpoint, we want a fair and thorough investigation because we hurt just like them.
I would like for everyone to just do their job. I would like for everyone to treat this as if this was their child or their family member and give us the same honesty, transparency, and respect that they would expect for them or their family.
And again, fam, there's a number if you're in Mississippi, and maybe you heard something, by the way, from people that you know from that area. But if you have any information, please, it is urgent. You can call 888-991-1772. Again, that's 888-991-1772. This is the hotline for the Nolan Wells case. Minister?
I think Tyler done put up 125,000 for the people to come in and tell. We do know it was homicide. No doubt about it. We do know those folk know something about it and how many of them participated. We do know they hid the phone, hid the keys, went to the parties, came back, went to the restaurant, went on. So they didn't give a hell about the mother and the father because they would assume they got there. Bring Matthew back up, baby. Soon they got there, they would have immediately called his parents, but they didn't call his parents. Catherine, put Matthew up. So they didn't call his parents. So that lets you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that they knew systemic racism had happened and they kept trying to camouflage it. And that's why the father called in after the call and say the boat was sinking. That's what he said. The children said. The grandfather called in the owner of the boat and told the police, he a cold man, don't move, I got it. Everything been settled. They were looking for time, what they could do with the body. The girl said on the tape, what did she say, Captain? What did she say?
What? Which tape?
The girl on the boat, she looking at Nolan.
She said, Nolan, don't die.
Thank you. That's where the cover up at. That's why the grandfather. Why you think they ain't saying nothing to me? Why you think they come after me? They went after Al Sharpton and Ben Crump. Come after me. My number is 281-896-8215. Slave named Johnny Bonder. Dr. Jeremiah. They not coming. I wish they would bring me to court. I would eat them up. We keep playing with this case. It's a homicide. The homicide has happened. And the man, when it did show the pictures where Boyd was with the girl, I don't know, and I guess he ain't with her no more. And Nolan wind up with the girl. The girl's cute girl, pretty. And some, we don't know exactly what happened, but it's common sense. And something happened. They didn't go there to unalive him. Now that's the truth. They did not go there to unalive him. Something happened and forced their hand. And what better way? What better way? And then they lied. The girls say, well, he came inconsistent. Then they take his phone and take his key and don't give it to the mother and go to a party or two. They go to party and they go party. How in the hell are your friend and you at a party? And then you're unaliving, and out of 3 of them, Matthew, not one of them go to his funeral. So I can pick the case apart. It's a fact. Then you take his body parts out. Where the people, they can't do a forensic. They can't do nothing. They nothing there. Everywhere it was to find out what happened to him. The see it was water in his lung, took his stomach out, but it was a little thing in the back of the head they couldn't take. So again, this whole case is a damn cover, trying to protect them 4 white boys. And they'll go all the way out by all means necessary. And that's why they paid that man, which need to be indicted. You can't take no body part from that child without the mother's consent. And stop lying about you took them where you didn't have to take them out. That's a lie from the pitch. They feel an empty body down there. Knowing when the man get through looking, they couldn't find nothing. Everything you could find a possibility, Matthew, they took out of him. So a Mississippi is what they are. They done hung no people. They racist. They got a thing where they throw people in rivers and say, man, Mississippi is Ku Klux Klan, skinheads, systemic racism, has no respect for nobody that look like me. They don't even respect their own. Poor white boy, he in trouble down there. So again, Hispanic not even go that way. So again, they are sick. They are sick. That's why they did the Mississippi burning. I know y'all don't remember the movie. They've been doing this. This ain't nothing new. And they're trying to cover this up. Took a 1-year-old baby life at Walmart for some diapers and trying to cover that up and pop out into the car on the passenger side, even if the car was coming at him, what you pop out over here for? Why don't you shoot this way? And then the girl took the baby, put the baby outside the car and said, I got a baby in the car. So he immediately shot over there. So come on, man. Hey, man. Hey. Just hung a boy there in the front of the college. This is what they do. They're systemic racism. And that woman, every time she look at her body and she get through looking at it, well, it was suicide. There was no foul play. Everybody ain't no foul play long as they black. So again, that whole Mississippi is trying to cover for each other right now. With this, they never thought this thing would take national press. We took a hold to it. John Lemon took a hold to it. Dr. Omar took a hold to it. Rollins took a hold to it. Matter took a hold to it. So when all of us took a hold to it, and we the first one, Matthew, to prove the homicide. Everybody was scared to say it. Oh, we don't want to rush to evict, and we don't want to say. I said, no. I got too much evidence. I got too much evidence not to tell the truth. They hired that young man, and when they finished, they threw him in that water, man. You can believe that. So that's why they didn't go looking for him. That's why they went on the search team. That's why they had his keys in his phone. Come on, man. They go to the party. They don't even go to the funeral. They don't go to the funeral, not one of them. But he your friend. Man, please. Mississippi is a mess. Too many deaths, not enough answers. I believe in God emphatically. I'm telling you tonight, Mississippi, you're going to hell with a gasoline jacket on. I can promise you that. You're going to hell. If you want to say something, Matthew, you can.
I don't think Matthew is available.
Well, I sent it to you. I don't know what's wrong. I sent it to you.
Okay, fam. Well, thank you for joining the Johnny Binder Show this evening. Again, our subject is Mississippi mess. Too many deaths, not enough answers. If you are watching this replay on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or some clips on TikTok, please like, subscribe, share, comment. Keep us in the algorithm. That's how we honor the people that we're talking about, those who have lost their lives, to keep their stories up front. Keep their stories up front. Please give us a thumbs up. Please share. Please comment. Boost us up in that algorithm so we can keep these stories front of mind for the families, the community, and the advancement of justice. That's it for my station break, Minister.
Okay, let's go to the next one.
Okay, give me just one moment here.
Marie just came in.
I got it. All righty. So just from a historical perspective, just kind of want to switch gears a little bit. Give me just a moment, fam. This is a short clip.
A white person did something to you, you had no recourse at all. People disappeared. We don't know what happened to them. They just disappeared.
In the 75 years before Emmett Till set foot in Mississippi,
more than 500 black people had been lynched in the state. Most were men who had been accused of associating with white women.
My God.
Part of that culture was that women were put on pedestals, and they were some sort of idealization of whatever it means to be woman or to be female. There was an almost irrational fear of black men, as if every black man was ready to attack or rape a white woman if you gave him the chance.
And that's from a PBS special. I will have to go find the name of the special so that y'all can check it out, fam. And I guess what gripped me about this clip in particular, Minister, is the theory, because it is a theory at this point, that Nolan's unaliving could have been related to his association with Katie, whether it was just pure hatred, jealousy, or if it was sparked by jealousy plus racism. We don't know. Or if it even occurred at all. But there's got to be something there because there's so many discrepancies around that story, even up including that she won't talk to the police, and allegedly she's not cooperating with officials, and she gave her account through her sister, but the timeline doesn't match up what the friend said and vice versa. So there's something going on there.
That's a fact. There's no doubt about it. They have been total disrespectful. And I know the God we serve sits high and look low. And I can prove in the Bible through my life that I done seen that God is going, it's coming, man. They done went too far, man. They done too much, and they don't believe karma is real. And that's why they don't want the Old Testament eye for eye, tooth for tooth. They want us to slap us, turn your cheek, and master take your pants, take your shirt, give his pants. They want us submissive to them and take out women and go behind the barn with them. And it's a lot of Nat Turners alive today. Denmark Visa, Gabriel Prosser. We're not going to take it, man. Y'all done did too much to us, man. And y'all totally disrespectful. The whole world see it, man. This boy Donald Trump has lost his mind trying to take out Black history. Who would he? You would have to take yourself out. For who? You came from us. It's just crazy, man. If he could, you couldn't even say nothing. They already done did TikTok, where you can't say Epstein. They it's a con game, man. And Fox News, he done bought that. I mean, it's sad. It's sad. They don't believe in God. And now the whole world got their eyes on them, trying to cover these 4 little white boys. And it's everything they done did is going to come out. It's coming out. There's no doubt about it. I told them from day one, when I got that evidence and I knew they took their telephone and they took them keys and went partying, and then they go to the funeral. Then one of the boys went on to say he had done something wrong. Then the grandfather told him, go back, I got it. Come on. Then the girl told him, it's too much. It all add up. Homicide.
It does. It does. And, we just have to try to be patient as we can with the system, because I know the wheels can turn a little slow. But I did read that Ben Crump's team they hired their own forensic investigators to go over that audio clip from the boat where you could hear his Nolan's friends allegedly saying that, referring to Nolan as being unalived and talking about covering up the incident and calling Nolan's name and saying, Bart, what did you do? Things of that nature. So, but the team is investigating the tape because I know some people probably wondered about that. So yeah, that's where we are with that investigation. But again, it turns slowly. We don't know when it's going to a grand jury. Haven't seen any updates regarding that, and they're keeping the state autopsy very, very close to their vest right now.
This is a great subject with the movie Mississippi Burning, Mississippi Mess. We'll do a part 2 with this because this is what this is. This is a Mississippi mess. Too many deaths, not enough answers, Johnny Brown alive. So it's what they have done to us and what they've done to race of America. Mississippi has been a part of this from day one. You know, so again, they are systemic racism. They hung more people than anybody, every state. And they are so disrespectful. I don't know why Trump don't move there. I mean, he would have fun there. They just like him, so he would have fun there. He'd be the king of that madness. So these people are not trying to give no justice. These people are not trying to honor us and respect us. These people, I think when Real just came back on, the people not trying to do nothing for our people. They are totally disrespectful. They unalive a young man. It's a homicide. We have enough evidence to prove beyond the shadow of a doubt, y'all lying. You shouldn't have took his keys. You shouldn't have took his phone. You called in scared about the phone. The boat was drowning, which it wasn't. That was a lie. He was trying to figure some way to get him off. And then the grandfather, with his ignorant self, he called in and tell him, shut everything down. I got it. I already secured the boat, everything. Then his name's in the report. What is his name in the report for? So all of this. Then they don't go to the funeral, to the celebration. And then they one of them broke silence, but he said nothing. He was trying to clean up some stuff. Mississippi officials need to be arrested. That whole city.
Well, that guy said that, you know,
they have systemic racism. They are mentally sick. They need a psychosocial assessment. They have become animalistic. They weren't born like that. They became that. So they have become animalistic. In Romans 1:24, professing to be wise, yet they become fools. 25, who change the truth to God into a lie and worship the creature instead of the creator. 26, women changing unnatural use. 27, men burned in lust. 28, God gave them over to a reprobate mindset to do those things that's not right. And then they invented ways of doing wrong. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Mississippi is burning. Mississippi is a mess. Mississippi is not of Jesus, not of God, not of Moses, David, Zephaniah, Mecca, Josiah, no Joseph, nobody you can name. Mississippi is a mess. And the only way it's going to be changed, you got to get their systemic officials out of there because they covering up for these 4 boys right now. And they pulled his throat out. Illegal. Went in his stomach. Illegal. Every way we could have found out exactly what happened, they decimated the child and sent an empty body to Washington, D.C. And somebody paid him to do it. And I don't understand why the mother and father ain't filed on them yet. I'm confused. You don't have a right to take my son's throat, stomach, or anything without my permission. I didn't give you no donors to cut him up and give him to somebody. So again, ladies and gentlemen, this is This is out of normal. When they did the movie Mississippi Burning, I didn't know Mississippi was this racist. These are the Ku Klux Klan, skinhead, Proud Boys, anything of racism, it is. The federal flag, all that. Because they have a sick mentality and they think they better. They are mentally sick. And God said in the scripture, they are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. And then in Revelation 12:9, God said the devil should deceive the whole world, the whole 196,940,000 square miles, land-wise 57,255,000 square miles, water-wise 139,685,000 square miles of water. The earth weighs 6 sextillion tons, a unit followed by 21 ciphers. We have supreme wisdom. You can't touch us. With 75% of our teachings of a woman. Until you know the woman, you'll never know God. The woman is all of our tests on the planet Earth. So the best thing to do with a woman is take her and lift up to God. And if we ain't doing that, we're going to get in trouble. That's a fact. The woman is the test for the whole world. After we get straight with the woman, then we can go to Jesus. Then we can go to God. How can you love me, one you've never seen, and the one you see every day, you lust? What a love. Love is freedom. Love is justice. Love is equality. Love is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Food, clothes, and shelter. Love, peace, and joy. I know you don't know about none of that. But again, love has not been explained. And that's why, Catherine, that's why, Maria, I'm opening up solution for real relationships, because 89% of the people in America divorce for money because they don't understand nothing about, if the woman don't become your friend or your best friend and y'all can't take constructive criticism, it's not going to work no how. Y'all got to be able to build each other, push each other. If you're not doing that, you clipping each other. You pushing each other down instead of lifting them up. And that's what this is. Welcome to the fall of America, because this is what it is. And it's coming down. It's burning. It's a lie. And they let that madman in that office, and he got the whole this thing done trickle down. More crime, more this, more that, more domestic violence, more suicide, all of that. More alcohol. More alcohol been sold since he's been in there than any president. That's a fact. People don't know what's going to happen. And 27 psychiatrists said he's the most dangerous man in the world in that White House. Trump, you just need to move to Mississippi. All your people that waiting on you. Y'all put your masks on and run around and burn crosses and have fun. So again, Catherine, Mississippi, mess. Too many deaths, not enough answers. And I can guarantee you, God is going to squash Mississippi. God is going to put all of them in a gasoline jacket. Draw, curses coming, plagues coming. Everybody think like Donald Trump. In Mississippi, which the same, you coming down. And I know y'all don't believe in God. But when you catch cancer, you catch diabetes, high blood, heart disease, God gonna deal with you. All the plagues are coming, because about 97% of y'all eat bad. So you're gonna take yourself out too. And God is going to deal with Mississippi and Donald Trump. That's a given. That's a fact. And America is messed up now because of Mississippi and Donald Trump. Ladies and gentlemen, I just told you the truth. You can take it or leave it. But that setup in Mississippi and in that White House, they should marry each other because they believe the same thing. They are Ku Klux Klans. They skinhead and Proud Boys. They have no respect for God, no respect for people, no respect for children, and damn sure ain't no respect for women. God, I'm asking you on this podcast tonight, put your plagues on them. Put your curse on them. Get God, do what you do. Do it. soon. They are too racist. They have created too many problems. And all them old fake shootings he's doing, trying to change the narrative. So again, God, we need you. As Smoking Knife said, we need you to either change or deal with them, God. They have created a problem for too many people. SNAP, Head Start, insurance, the Obamacare, everything you can think of. This man is wicked. 34 senators and the president. That show you how weak the government is, and that fake law they got of democracy is a mockery in itself. Because if Jesus, Moses, Zephaniah, Josiah, Joseph, if any of them was here, they wouldn't follow democracy. Democracy would be the rule of the devil, and he wouldn't be. They would follow theocracy, the rule of God. That's why America. We follow the wrong law, democracy. Then we're in religion, religious hostility, a bunch of madness with a bunch of Sunday morning disco style show and political whore centers. America's a Ponzi scheme and a pyramid. And they have no respect for God. Our day coming. God gonna bring all y'all down. The fall of America is here.
Thank you, Minister. And before we go, family, I did have one breaking news item regarding the Nolan Wells case that I would like to end on. I'm not sure why we have such a bad echo, but I have one Nolan Wells case I want to end. Yes.
Okay.
I think you have the volume up too loud on your speakers. So I will go ahead and we'll roll that and then we'll close it out, fam. But stay tuned. Like again, breaking news from our brother Willie D.
Willie D Live.
What's up, family? According to Secret Service Sam, there's a woman on TikTok who goes by the name of Faith Lauren, who made an interesting statement online. She said that she witnessed the fight between Nolan Wells and a group of people on that fateful day, July 4th, Independence Day, as a matter of fact. Yeah, she said that, basically he was jumped. Yeah, fam, these are her words right here. Now, this has not been confirmed. I haven't been able to confirm this. In fact, I wasn't even able to find her TikTok because I searched for it like extensively. I could not find it. Maybe she went dark or something. I don't know. But this is the statement that she made. You can make of it what you will. But as I told y'all, like, I'm following all leads. I'm doing what the police should be doing, following all leads, and we're gonna put it out there. And I do believe, like, telling these stories, if we keep telling these stories and keep putting it out there and people keep coming forward and sharing their experiences, I do believe that the truth will eventually come out. There's too many people involved. It's way too many people involved. The truth will eventually come out. I'm not saying that this is the truth, but it's coming out. The truth is on the way. So without further ado, let's get into this statement that this woman named Faith Lauren made on TikTok. I have not spoken publicly about this before, but I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells from a boat nearby. What I saw has stayed with me, and I believe it's important information. I have provided or intend to provide my account to the appropriate investigators because Nolan's family deserve the truth. Out of respect for the ongoing investigation, I won't speculate beyond what I personally observed. I am providing this statement based on what I personally observed. While I was on the boat near the area, I witnessed an altercation involving Nolan Wells and several other individuals. I saw what appeared to be an argument that escalated after there was a dispute involving Nolan's phone. I heard Nolan yelling for his phone to be returned. The argument continued after the group reached shore, and I observed a physical fight involving Nolan and multiple people. I also observed a young woman telling them to stop. At that point, I left the area because the situation appeared to be getting worse. I did not remain long enough to witness what happened afterwards. Everything beyond what I personally observed would be speculation, so I cannot honestly say what happened after I left. All right, fam, give me a thumbs up if you believe. If you believe this to be an authentic statement, give me a thumbs up. Thumbs down if you say, nah, man, it ain't adding up. I'll give you a few moments to think about it. Okay, time's up. I don't know, fam. I do what I do believe is something happened. I do believe a fight occurred. There absolutely was an altercation. There was an altercation. And somebody or somebodies killed Nolan Wells. And I do believe he was killed on that boat. That's right, I said it. I believe he was killed on that boat. So all those scare tactics they're using ain't gonna work. You cannot change my mind.
I'm going to pause it right there, fam. And I believe there are a lot of us who are saying the exact same thing. We know something happened either on the boat or maybe on the shore. Who knows? But at the end of the day, something happened. And we want Christine to get justice and her husband, Nolan's father, to get justice for their baby. Oh my God. So, yes, we continue to pray for justice under grace and in a perfect way, that God reveals the hand and reveals the perpetrator of this crime immediately. And because there's been so much of a cover up regarding this situation, there are a lot of peoples whose heads should roll. Or if you want to be more politically correct, you can say whose behinds should be in jail or should be charged with something: obstruction of justice, tampering with evidence, something in addition to unaliving. So we say manslaughter 1 or 2. I don't know how Mississippi's laws run. And I don't think this is an important legal lesson for us as the watching public as we watch this trial, is to understand that the charges for unaliving are different in different states. It's not all the same. So we have to watch that too as it pertains when we're watching this, because what happens in Texas or what applies in Texas won't necessarily be what applies in Mississippi as to how they prosecute. We saw that in the South Carolina case with Crosby, the baby that was shot, that was pow-powed by the store owner and his son when he was running away. We saw that, Cyrus Crosby. We saw that. And yeah, and that's because the laws were prosecuted a little bit differently than what we would be used to in Texas or in another state. So let's keep that in mind as we watch this with careful eyes. Again, family, if you hear of anything, please alert us or call that the justice line for Nolan, the hotline. I will put it in the description so you can easily contact them with any tips, any information. Make sure it's accurate. We can't slow down the system with bogus claims. So we want to be responsible with that for sure, for sure. And fam, that is it. That is all I have for this evening. So thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. Again, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or clips on TikTok, please like, share, subscribe. That is how we keep Nolan's story alive and in the algorithm, is that you like, share, and subscribe every time you watch one of the Johnny Binder episodes, but also episodes of other creators. That keeps his story fresh in the algorithm. Go a step further. Carmelo Anthony's trial will be starting next week. I think it's the 9th, Monday. I think it's on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check my dates. But any stories related to that, y'all, even if you don't have a chance to watch the whole thing, subscribe, comment. Just keep it in the algorithm. Keep the stories up there. Cohen Wiley, the baby that was unalived in the Walmart parking lot in Mississippi. If you see stories related to that, subscribe, keep it in the algorithm. That's how we keep the stories front of mind. It's real simple. Everybody wants to know what they can do to make a difference. We say our show is solution based. So this is a solution. Subscribe, share, comment. Keep the story front of mind. Keep the story in the algorithm. That's how you help. Because when we're pushing it from our end, it makes mainstream media pick it up. It gets the story into the algorithm of people who may not have even heard or know what is going on in Mississippi. There are some that are still out there that don't know what we know because we're following the story so carefully. So we got to stay on it, fam. We got to stay on it. So let me get off my soapbox. I'm so appreciative of everyone who has been following us. I'm appreciative of the support. Again, the Johnny Binder Show is growing. We are bringing on new associates. We will have soon, I'm hoping, correspondents in other cities, especially in states, especially there in Mississippi, especially in Dallas, so we can get more firsthand information about what's going on with some of these major cases. And we know we are in H-Town. We love you, fam, here in H-Town. And, we're reporting on some activities in Houston. We will be picking up more of that. Just so and there's plenty to pick up on. It hurts my heart sometimes. I drove by a crime scene the other day, I think that was Monday, where a young man had been unalived in a pow out, a weapons battle or some sort. So heartbreaking, but we have to bring it to your attention so we can start brainstorming on how we can really, really save our young people. So with all of that said, fam, you can support the Johnny Binder Show on Cash App at $JBS Live. That's J as in Johnny, B as in Binder, S as in Show Live. And your donations go directly to help us get equipment, get people, get resources, so we can bring you more of the stories that you've come to love. And with that, fam, it has been real. It's been real. It's been a real day. If y'all only knew. Woo, but to God be the glory in it all. And with that, I say to you, peace, love, and we'll be talking to you later. God say the same.
Beautiful. Proud. I must be respected. I must be protected.